I think the people that are serving should make less because they work for us. We don't work for them.
But the thing is, you cannot demonize Ms. Pelosi because she takes advantage of the same capitalist system that you want to take advantage of.
No, I'm not demonizing her. I'm just asking her why she wants to increase taxes, and she finds a way inside the system to monetize herself up to $21 million if, in fact, she's such a great socialist. That's all I want to do.
Because just because she made more money, you don't know how much money she gave back. Because in socialism, it ain't always about how much you take in, it's how much you give out. And because you don't know her personal life or her personal situation, you don't know what she's doing for others, so you're judging her on what you see and not what you know.
No, I'm posing a question. I didn't judge her. I posed a question. He answered real good now.
All right. Let's go to Will.
I just asked a question. But the other thing, the other comment I wanted to make is whether the idea is taxing more or taxing less. The system, you know, you're talking about how they're going to give back to the people. California gave their employees IOUs. California is broke. The United States is broke. Okay. The system as you know it, Mr. Give Back and Mr. Capitalist, is broke. It does not work. We are approaching a point where the people are putting more in to the system than what the people are receiving more from the system than what's being put in. It's broke. It's popped. That is the next bubble, the government bubble. It's the next bubble.
I agree.
That's all I have to say.
And that's about
the system is
bust right now.
But at the same time, the system will never be repaired because you're never going to find us to agree to something to be able to fix it.
Because you don't want to come up with a third system.
Exactly.
Okay.
So anyway,
go ahead.
See, I like a group discussion like this. I host a meeting as well every Wednesday, and some of the people in here come to my meeting. But I think that it's good that we can get together like this and have differences. I don't want everybody to come to a meeting and have the same ideas and opinions. We don't get nowhere like that.
Right.
We need these differences. We need to be able to air out these differences because I learn when people disagree with me, and I hope people learn when I disagree with them because this type of setting is great, and I think that you should continue to have these. Now, in saying that, everything that's been said here, I agree with a lot of things that both Anthony's, Tony and Tony, I know both, but I agree with a lot of things that they said. I agree with a lot of stuff that has come from the audience. If we can bring it together and understand that the biggest problem is, if we look in the mirror, that's the biggest problem, us. We, the people, aren't doing anything but sitting up here battling and supporting governments and all these entities that really, to me, doesn't have our interest. But maybe I can be convinced by others that it does have our interest. But the bottom line is that we have to understand what role do we play in changing these conditions to make it better for us in the first place. Black, white, orange, pink, yellow, whatever color you are. What can we do together to do that? So what our group does is we've come to the conclusion based on studying a little bit further than what other people, everybody studies capitalism and socialism. Everybody knows that. Nobody knows what the international bankers has done to the whole world economy, be it capitalist or socialist. They do finance it, but you have to read this stuff for yourself and do a little further studying other than just what the traditional capitalist and socialist study programs that we've entered ourselves into, because we look at it as conspiracy theories and etc. But if we can learn to say, okay, wait a minute, here's what our problem is, but what do we the people do? What we do is try to combat the financial system using the Uniform Commercial Code and other financial strategies to deal with this system, because each and every one of us have a problem. We broke and we're struggling against a system that's keeping us in debt. That's our biggest problem, okay? We can sit up here and run our mouths about a Republican and Democrat and all that. They rich. Both of them are rich. Democrats and Republicans, all of them are capitalism, are lawyers, and they got money. And they really don't give a crap about none of us sitting up here trying to support them. So I've given up supporting them. And I said the people are the ones that are going to have to make the difference. And the people are going to have to start studying things other than what they tell us to study. Because what they don't tell you is what's best for you. Not what they tell you. They tell us what we want to go out and parrot to the audience, our audiences all the time. Here, do this because they told me to do this. But when I bring up the concept of international banking, nobody knows about it. So you look at a conspiracy theory, wacko, or another, something like that. Go study it for yourselves and see if it has some merit to it.
Okay.
Because it really does.
Yeah, but the one thing is,
just to point out one thing about.
Wait, talk one at a time. See, my meeting, of course, at my meeting, people talk one at a time. I'm going to stop them. I want to hear everybody.
The idea of international banking is not something that is new. The idea.
No, I know it's not new.
The idea of international.
Control the meeting.
The idea of international banking is something that, as a individual, you can't control. Like you guys were saying, that whole thing is much bigger than you. So that when you wake up every day, you can't go out and fight the banks. That's not going to happen.
Well, you can't.
So why you say there has to be a movement? It has to be an internal movement, but it's something that's going to take time, and it's something that, like you said, ignorance is bliss. If people don't realize there's a problem, they won't fight against it. So that if they're content with the idea that I can't do anything about it, it's just there, so I'm just going to have to deal with it, then you have those situations of where the bank runs the things of that sort. But to be honest with you, when we talk about capitalism and socialism, I think in the 21st century, the one thing that needs to be discussed more than the idea of capitalism, socialism, the concept of capitalism and socialism, is the idea of the free media. Because the idea of the free media has taken idle minds, has taken minds of less educated minds, and truly had an effect on them to the point of where they can decide, the media itself can decide for you how you think.
Question, Andy, before you go further. You said free media.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, what is that? What is free media?
United States, all media in the United States is free.
But not if
We have a free press.
Well, Andy, I disagree with you on
we
that.
have a
We have a
All right,
free
let him
press.
finish.
We have a free press.
Now, getting back to Crowley and his discussion on the bankers. See, when the Supreme Court passed the, what was that case?
Federal Reserve?
No, not on the Federal Reserve, where people thought that money is like freedom of speech. And the Supreme Court approved that, where you can spend any amount of money you want. That's where the 527s and all that came in. The reason why the bankers and everyone else wants to stop people from spending whatever money they want is because they want to limit the opportunity for the masses to control speech. Because if you, let's say you decide that you don't like what this politician is doing, you can go out there and spend your money and put it in advertising and say whatever you want. But they made laws against that, so people cannot say what they want, because the only way you can communicate is through advertising. And advertising is speech. But if money is speech, then you can do whatever you want with it. And if you want to buy $1 million in advertising, you have that right. But they limited it to a small amount, so this way you cannot go up against the incumbents. And I always try to vote for the new person. New people bring blood into the system that the old boys and the old women will continue propelling the problem.
I'd like
when
to
you throw
clarify.
new people in, they're gonna put a monkey wrench in the committees, inside the votes, the debates. The more new people that go in, the better it is.
I'd like to clarify my statement about the free press.
Please.
We have a free press.
We never had a free press.
It's not that that press is not regulated. There are regulations on everything. There are, we have freedom of speech, but you can't go tell the president you're going to kill him. There are regulations.
It's more of a threat than it is speech.
Again, it is speech. Speech is speech. Anything that comes out of your mouth is speech.
Yeah, but it's also
and
a
if you
threat.
have a free speech, everything should be free, right? But the thing is, there are regulations to everything. There are rules and guidelines to everything in this country. So that even though you may not agree with the rules, and you may not agree with the guidelines, as a whole, this country has a free media and a